And Ghana's Black Stars have finally wrapped up their preparations for the much-anticipated game against the United States of America. Ghana is scheduled to play the USA on Wednesday at 12:30 a.m. And the Black Stars held their final training session at the Gildes Park. We're going to check out how that training session went down. But there's a big blow in the Black Stars camp as one of their players is injured and won't be able to play in this particular game. We'll check out who this player is as well as his likely replacement in the squad. Coach Chris Hughton has handed a late call-up to one player to replace the injured player. We're going to check out this and more here on Sports Update Ghana. Before we get into it, please subscribe to the channel, like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment. So let's get right into it. And ahead of Ghana's game against the USA, the Black Stars of Ghana held their final training session at the Gildes Park to prepare for their game against USA. The Black Stars have been playing in the international window and they played their first game against Mexico a fortnight ago, where the Black Stars lost that game unfortunately by 2-0. Goals from Lozano and Antuna helped Mexico defeat the Black Stars by 2-0. But the Black Stars have moved away from that match. They've left Charlotte and they've traveled to Nashville, where they are preparing for this particular encounter. The team arrived in Nashville, I think, on Sunday. Then on Monday, they held their final training session at the Gildes Park, where the game would be played. 21 players took part of this training session, which was supervised by Black Stars head coach Chris Hughton and with technical support from the likes of Richard Olelekinson, the goalkeeper's trainer, as well as George Boateng and Masudi Dramani, who are all assistant coaches. They were part of the training session that took place. The likes of Thomas Partey, Joseph Paintil, Mohamed Kudus, the likes of Abdul Saleh Samed, and all took part of this particular training session, which was held ahead of the game. Normally, the Black Stars would have held their training session at a regular turf, but this time they went to the stadium where they'll be playing the match to hold their final training session. And this is because often before game days, teams are allowed to train at the stadium to get a feel of how the stadium is before the match is played the next day. So that is why the Black Stars held their final training session at the Gildes Park in Nashville ahead of that particular encounter. Now, among the 21 players that trained with the Black Stars on Monday was Fatai Hamid, the Midiama SC player. Yes, he was given a late call-up into the Black Stars for the game against Mexico due to the injury of Joseph Edu. Now, Joseph Edu was part of Ghana's team that played against Mexico. In fact, he was handed a starting role in the game and played up to 18 minutes when unfortunately he got injured after he picked up a knock in the game against Mexico. So Joseph Edu was substituted, if you remember, and Ali Duseidu came on to replace him in the match. Well, after medical checks, it turns out that Joseph Edu's injury is serious, so he was given clutches and unfortunately he won't be able to play for a number of weeks. And when the Black Stars were moving camp from Charlotte in the USA to Nashville, he wasn't part of the team that traveled. Rather, he was made to return to his club, that is Celta Vigo, in the Spanish La Liga, to go and undergo further treatment to recover from his injury. And I hope that the Black Stars will not leave him to his fate. And we've seen that in the past where Jerry Akaminkum got injured and nobody attended to him, and Jerry Akaminkum's career became topsy-turvy. And I hope that Joseph Edu will get the needed support from the GFA and the Black Stars, and we wish him the speedy recovery. Now to Fatai Hamid. For him, he was part of the Black Stars squad initially, but later on he left the Black Stars camp to go and play for Midiama. Midiama also came to the USA to play a game against DC United, an MLS team, and they even lost that particular game over there. But he left the Black Stars camp to go and join Midiama because the Black Stars had a lot of players, and so he decided to go and join Midiama because Midiama needed him. He's a key player of Midiama, so he went to join them and play their match. So Midiama themselves, they've returned to Ghana, but when they were coming, well, the technical team of the Black Stars phoned Fatai Hamid not to come to Ghana, but rather you should join the Black Stars in camp because one player is injured. So Fatai Hamid and Fatai Hamid ends up replacing Joseph Edu in Ghana's squad. He made a great performance in the game against Liberia, where he played very, very well, and Fatai Hamid has become a delight to watch. Hopefully he gets to start the game against USA. Now, the last time Ghana played against USA back in 2017, there was one local player in that game. That was Liberty professional Samuel Safo Maldini, and he made his debut in that particular encounter. And Samuel Safo, since that match, has gotten many opportunities. He now plays outside of Ghana. I think that Fatai Hamid, if he gets more playing time, maybe he might end up leaving the Blasters. But the game between Ghana and USA is likely to be shown on one channel, that is Max TV. The previous match against Mexico was shown on Angel TV, but it appears that the game will be shown on Max TV this time on. So if you are in Ghana, the game will be played on Wednesday. That is Wednesday at 12:30 a.m. Yes, 12:30 a.m. That is when the game will be played. And if you are in Nigeria, I think it will be played around 1:30 a.m. So calculate it. If you know the Ghana time, just calculate it from there, wherever you are watching this from. Well, talking about Nigeria, well, their senior national team, the Super Eagles, took on Ghana's 2023 AFCON group opponent, Mozambique, in a friendly match. Well, Nigeria had to come from a goal down to come and win the game by 3-2. It was such a tough match, yes. As early as the 6th minute, Mozambique scored the first goal. You would say it was a cheap goal, but Nigeria's goalkeeper, Francis Uzoho, is not different from Ghana's goalkeeper. We all have goalkeeping issues, from Nigeria, Cameroon to Ghana. We are all battling goalkeeping issues. Well, Nigeria managed to restore parity through their player, that is Mofi. Then later on, Frank Onyeka made it 2-1 for them. Then later on, Mozambique were reduced to 10 men after one of their players got a red card. Nigeria got a penalty, then they scored their third goal in the game to make it 3-1. In the second half, Mozambique managed to get a consolation goal to make it 3-2. Yes, so that was how the game ended for Nigeria over there. They nearly got a draw, or they nearly lost the game to Mozambique. So I think this game is a great game for the Blasters coaches to watch and get to know their opponent for the 2023 AFCON very well. Mind you, Ghana was placed in Group B of the AFCON, and we are in the same group with Egypt, Cape Verde and Mozambique. If you are able to make it out of the group stages, we are likely to meet Nigeria or host country Ivory Coast. So every game that our opponents play on the African continent is key for us in our quest to end the 41 years wait for an AFCON trophy. Can Ghana be able to win the AFCON trophy? Well, we'll see about that. I'll come back and bring you up to speed on the probable starting lineup of the Blasters and what Coach Chris Hughton and his players have said ahead of the game. Until then, my name is Joseph Adamafiu. Thanks for doing the watching. Please subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment. I'm out.